just a quick look at our maidens here before we breed them, just to run through what the plan is with them, because we haven't looked at them since they went out. Well, obviously they're looked at every day, but I haven't actually seen them for a few days now. Paul, there's plenty of activity up here too. Paul sees them every morning, so it's a few days now since I've seen them. Doing really well. I'm delighted with them now. Probably the tallest batch of heifers that we've had before. This is so everyone remembers from earlier videos, these got soybean meal on top of their silage since they went in, and it's the longest period that we've fed heifer soybean meal on top of silage. We haven't usually fed them the whole way till they went out, but they got the whole way till they went out, from the minute they went in to the minute they went out, and it has put great height in them. This that obviously isn't a maiden heifer, that's a bull that we castrated, so he's a bullock now for the freezer hopefully next year. So the plan with these is, and he's very friendly, you'd eat the clothes off you, look at him, wouldn't you? Harry, that's what we call him. The plan for these is, go away Harry, look at him. It actually eats your elbow. I'm actually being attacked all over here. The plan for these, breeding wise, they're going to start breeding on these around the 1st of May, maybe the 28th or 29th of April, and we don't do anything too complicated here. We used to make heifers complicated. We never did fixed time AI, but we used to PG inject them and synchronise them that way. It was kind of the cheapest way of synchronising them, and then we used to use AI on them for about 4 weeks and then let bulls out. But this yard is away from our milking platform, and this land sort of can be a bit away from the shed, so they'd have to, if they were far away, they used to have to come up into the shed twice a day if you're using sex semen. And when we took on the second milking platform, we just didn't have time for that, so we stopped AI in heifers completely. We don't synchronise them and we don't AI up here anymore. It's 2 stock bulls, so there'll be 2 little tiny yearling Angus bulls. We'll go out with these. We will tail paint them when they go out, and keep an eye on any heifers in case they're not cycling. But other than that, they're kind of left to their own devices, and it just cuts out so much labour and so much cost. You know, there's nearly no cost to putting heifers in calf then, other than the bulls. And you have short gestation Angus bulls, so they calve fairly fast, and then they're very easily calved as well on top of that. Now the calves aren't worth a whole lot of them, but you need them to be easy calved for their first year, and it's a system that we love since we went at it. We have lost nothing by going away from AI on heifers. There's definitely an argument. So initially, the reason Teagasc especially pushed everyone to AI breed your heifers was because they were, number one, the most fertile animals in your herd, and number two, the herd of cows in the country wasn't very fantastic at all, EBI wise anyway. And the fastest way that Teagasc and the ICBF knew to increase the EBI figures for every herd in the country was breed out your heifers. So if you bred out your heifer, you get a high genetic quality animal, and breed out her again then, and focus on breeding out her, you'll increase your EBI faster. And it did work, but now we're in a position where we've got actually a very good herd of cows in the country, and I think there's straws going into heifers that are unproven. Like a heifer might have good figures on paper, but until she calves down, you don't know whether she's going to be a dud or not. A heifer could calve down, and after she calves, you look at her and go, well, there's no way would I want a heifer calf out of that animal. But if you've bred your heifer calves out, that's all you're going to get. So there's an argument then that let the heifer calve down, get a year over her, and as a second calver then pick those animals for sex semen. They're still young enough for sex semen to work well, and they've proven themselves by milk cording them for 1 year. And that's the route we went down, and it's not something that we're going to change or go back on. But they're certainly all up to weight this year. It's actually hard to find very small heifers in it, isn't it, Pet? I'm sure some of them are as quiet as ever because the women do such a good job of rearing them as calves. They're always quiet batch. And plenty of activity up here, like I said. So I think there's over 40 up here, so it'll be one of our bigger batches of heifers that we will have carried. Sometimes we sell off excess heifers out of batches this big, but we're not going to this year. We're going to hold on to all of them. Hello everyone, if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button now and hit that like button if you like the video at any point throughout. Both those things really help our channel out and we appreciate the support a lot. Just bringing the cows in here now. It's Monday evening, and you remember that rain that I spoke about that might have hit us Monday and Tuesday, just on the east coast here? Well, look at that water on that laneway, and look at how green the whole place looks. It rained hard here last night and has pretty much, I'd call it a wet day anyway. It rained for 2/3 of the day today. Some heavy downpours, some soft rain like was falling there now, sunshine at times, just grass growing weather, that's what I'd call it. It's really good news now. So that means the plan changes again. Just give you a look at Graze out on first field of the second round. Pretty good now. So yes, we're into second round on the home farm now as well. I let them into that Saturday. No, Paul let him into it Saturday. And there was a plan for it to be just 2 daytime grazes, so 0.8 over 24 hours is how I'd worked that out. And they've gotten way longer than that. They've got a day, a night and a day on it. So that means dry matter then is very high, which will be to be expected because the weather we've had, but even higher than I would have thought. And that means that short cover second round fields are going to last longer than you would imagine. So that means cows need to get into them and we need to start working on them. That rain today is going to grass is going to explode and get out of hand fast. So we are fully now on the home farm, first round by night, second round by day. That's every day. Until I walk again Wednesday or Thursday, and if I see that second round is really taken off, it'll go second round by night, first round by day, until second round is growing more than demand, and then first round, then whoever's left the first round will go to heifers. So most of the ground that I would have taken in for heifers, or planned to take in for heifers, won't be needed for them. I was in this paddock today doing a different job and realised that it's gone mad. This was really gone away, gone too strong. So they were grazing a different paddock on that side of the farm, which had not that much grass on it, so I pulled them off of that now. They haven't finished it and they'll be in here tomorrow. A few docks in this field, few docks everywhere. Must be poaching from last year when it was so wet. You just see them coming there. Quality second round is top notch, so we're delighted with that. Just on the other job that I was doing there today, myself and Sid is off for his Easter holidays now. I'm going to bring a few clips here to show some of that now. And it's kind of hard to make out there, but there's posts coming along there, down to here, over along the bottom, and back up the far side. Fenced that off. It won't take a genius to get into the comments there now and tell me what that's for. That's a project that you'll be seeing a bit more of, or lots of hopefully, over the next 12 months. He said optimistically that it'll only be 12 months. And I see other people putting this up on their YouTube channels, projects outside of farming, and I see lots of people getting in the comments saying, oh, this is a farming channel and we only come here to see farming. Well, I'm going to put up whatever I want, so you can come and watch the videos of that project going on, or you can come and watch the farm videos. Some weeks it'll just be about that project, some weeks it'll just be farming, some weeks it'll be mixed together. So my page, I'm going to put whatever I want in the videos. Jesus, talk about weather extremes. I don't know. I think there was like over 20 mil overnight. I was hard pressed to get the van up across the field for the cows because there's that much water sitting on top of the ground now. But just look at the temperature here. It's 3 degrees. Well, I don't know what's falling in that, because if it hits the temperature sender on the van, that goes down to 0 and -1. My hands are locked up with the cold. It's like half sleet or something. This is crazy weather. Crazy. Absolute craziness. Blown into the milking parlour here and everything. You'll just see the cows shivering there. I mean, you can't have 4 weeks of dry weather without any rain at all, and then get 4 weeks of rain in one night and have it like rain you'd get in December. It's like my hands, I can't, it's hard to describe how cold whatever's falling is ice, and the cows are all shivering here standing in the parlour. This extreme weather is getting out of hand altogether, and anyone who says that climate change isn't happening, they're not really a serious person. I think you can debate what's causing it, but there's no debate that it's not here. I'm on the second last row here now. I looked at the shed, and the way the rain, come on girls out, the way the rain is coming is the worst way for these sheds. So it was wet 2/3 of the way up the shed, blown in underneath the roof there. It's blown into the back of the milking parlour, so I decided then that they were better out than in, because the shed is, you might as well not have them out. But anyway, they're going out row by row, and they're running out for grass. So I don't know, they're going to a sheltered field now, alright. We'll catch up after the milking is finished when we go out to show them out, and we'll see are they grazing or are they all standing behind the hedge. Well, there we go now. I guess the moral of the story is they'll always worry about themselves less than you'll worry about them. They're fairly happy there with their grass. Great job. My God, there is some change in 24 hours. We had a serious frost last night, but just looking at the forecast, I think that's the end of the cold gone. It's 11 degrees there now. It's to get up to 14, I think, during the day for the rest of the week. So hopefully the crazy extreme cold is gone there for this year. Fingers crossed. Amazing how fast it turns everything into muck though. Like cow roads after being so dry. I hate it when they're like that. Just a quick calving update, because I haven't given one for a couple of weeks because it's been quiet, but we're down to 10 cows or that, a bit less even. There's 6 left down here, they're going up the road. Yeah, there's actually, less than 10 left. So there's 6 here, they're going up the road to the other shed, so there'll be no cows left down in the overflow yard yet. Then, thankfully, there's 2 heifers left up in the rented yard, and they'll be coming down to here this week as well. They're all very close to calving, so we will certainly be done by the 25th or 26th. That'll be 10 days time, so we'll definitely be done by then. Everything has we've had a few difficult calvings in the last little while, some backwards calves, some big backwards calves, but we've got them all out. The calves have been fine and the cows have been fine, so that's a bonus. The bulls arrived, this year's batch of bulls. There, 4 whiteheads, 2 Angus's normal, 2 Angus's to run with heifers, and 2 bulls per herd of cows. Like I said in other videos, one herd is full stock bull breeding, and then the larger herd on the home farm is just stock bull overflow, to mop up after AI. So it's 2 bulls with 60 to 70 cows on the rented farm, putting them all in calf, so they have a lot of work to do. And then it's 2 bulls with 120, 130 cows on the home farm, but they have to put very few in calf because most of them being calf to AI. And then the 2 Angus's then just run with 40 heifers. So there's none of them going to be under too much pressure. The 2 on the rented farm are the busiest, but there's none of them going to be under too much pressure. They're just getting some oats. There's some leftover oats and soybean there, meal from meal we used to give to the cows before they calved, and the bulls are going to get that. It's about 2 weeks, 10 days to 2 weeks. Might let out the bulls, the heifers in 10 days, but it'll be 2 weeks or that before the bulls are let out with the rented farm. And then we're looking at 6, 7, 8, probably 8 or 9 weeks before the 2 lads go out to mop up on the home farm. So oats there now will put plenty of energy into them, and they'll be in good form going out to the cows, which is what you want. You don't want the bull to be anyway tired, or you want them lepping out their skin really. Now, next job is a grass walk. So I'm going to put the grass walk, just let me know in the comments there. I know some people really enjoy the grass walk part of the videos, but I'm going to put the grass walks in at the end of the videos every week. So the last third of the video will be about grass every week. So that means that if you're here and you're not a farmer and you just enjoy looking at what's going on and you don't really understand the grass or find it boring, then you can stop the video once the grass walk starts. And then if you want to see the grass walk and all the grass, you can either stay till the end of the video to watch it or skip ahead to the end and get the grass walk. So I'll be putting up the wedge and grass figures like average farm cover and stuff and that sort of thing every single week for the whole year. I didn't do it last year, so I'm going to do it this year. Let me know in the comments if you like the grass walk part, if you hate it, and that's why I'm going to put it in as the back end of the videos. Just started here, but we've got a very green looking farm, totally different to last week. And when you walk out into a paddock, in your head how many days cows have been off of the field, and how it should look when things are going right. And I haven't seen that this year kind of yet, but it looks like it today. A huge difference. The rain has made a huge difference. Just shows it was moisture is just what we were lacking here. And we're starting on the rented farm today, so it was home farm last week. So the first information you'll get this week in the video will be for the rented unit. This was the tightest farm last week for grass, and we actually ended up not having to feed out any silage here. Was going to feed out silage on the field that the cows are on now, but I just went up with the plate meter the day I was going to feed the silage out just to check what the cover was on the field, and it had grown enough that I didn't need to put silage out. So we haven't fed any silage up here, even though we were very tight. I'm just going to put in a clip here now showing this video being grazed last May. Yeah, last May. But down here we call it the bottoms, and it's the lowest lying 3 paddocks actually on this farm here, and they're wet. They're very wet. This is only our 3rd year on this farm, and normally we've never gotten into these fields down here to graze them off, even for the first time before the bulls are out with the cows. So by the time the bulls get out here, it's been grazed once, and that's 2nd round on it there now. By the time the bulls are out with the cows, it'll be the 3rd time grazing this down here. So it's an amazing year so far, and it looks fantastic down here. Look how green it is. Super stuff. Now this is going to be a drastic change because I didn't get time to talk about the grass walks today. I've done the grass walks. This is 3 days later, I think. But let's talk about the rented farm. Wedges here. We're way better, as you'll see here, much closer to the demand line. Every paddock is pretty much touching it. Now, if I put the average farm cover and demand and growth up here, you'll see why. So growth was over 40, demand is still down at 27. Average farm cover is still low at under 500. So we're growing a surplus, but we're not building enough cover in front of cows yet. So after talking to Andre, we're going to keep the feed in the diet and keep the demand low until we can start getting consistently 11 and 1200 covers in front of cows. So definitely not time to take the brakes off. Even though the growth is above demand, we need to build a bit of grass. So the plan up there will be to keep the beet and the nuts where they are, and keep doing what they're doing. And I'll try and get a walk. I was hoping to do Monday, but I won't get done Monday or Tuesday now, so it'll be Wednesday. And just see there'll be a good surplus then there by Wednesday, and hopefully covers in front of cows will have built up so that we get, if you just put up the wedge here again, you'll see that, you know, the top cover other than that one that's sitting at 1,000 is 800. So there needs to be 400 more on all those before we start taking the supplement feed out and drive that demand up in line with growth. Home farm here now. Similar story to the rented farm so far, just by looking at it, and very similar to last week. Well, we're way ahead of last week because it's actually growing and growing fast, but the fields that have covered the grass on them all week are the fields that have really grown. So this field behind me here had 600 on it this day last week, and it has 1,100, maybe 1,100 plus. So I'd imagine it was maybe a bit under measured last week, so it's definitely grown 70 or 80 this week. Anything with cover of grass, anything that had no grass on it, so very little leaf cover, is down at 40 or, yeah, growing about 40 or that. But that's 40 more than they grew last week, you know, and the fields with grass on them have grown 40 more than they grew the week before. So it's going to get crazy, grasses. I'll definitely have to walk Tuesday, I'd say, again, because the cows are still on a good few nuts and they're still on beat, and I need to get it right where I start pulling those back and letting the grass on into them. You need to keep grass supply tight on farms this time of the year. We're heading out dates and that kind of thing, and the last thing you want is covers getting ahead of you now. So that'd be a mistake you could make. It's a mistake I have made here before. Tight at the start and then remain too cautious as the growth comes, and you just get yourself into trouble. So I'm going to try and live on the edge as much as I can now, because I know the growth is going to come after what rain we've got. This is an idea of how hard it can become to manage this time of year when it takes off. I put the cows into this paddock because it was the next best on the wedge last week. I was out in that field then where the cows are now, you can see them in the distance, fencing off that job, and as I walked I realised that he had way overtaken this field. So then I got him into there in a hurry before it got ahead, and I left him here with this part not grazed, and there was only 600 700 on the bottom part of that. It was worse than the top half, and sure, it is sitting over 1,000 there now. So they're going to stay on that field by day now till they're done. They'll have tomorrow and maybe the next day on it. They'll come in here tonight and they'll eat the bottom half of that. So look, you have to be flexible, I think, at the minute, just to stay ahead of it. To give you an idea of graze outs, it's very easy graze out second round this year because it was clean to the floor first round, so there's no real hairy white butt left, and it's palatable to the bottom, so they're going down to the bottom to eat every last bit of it. So it's good, it's great. Another job I do as I'm doing the grass walk, so you'll know from earlier videos that we don't blanket spread fertilizer and we don't spread fert ahead of cows for the whole summer. So what I do then is I take note of what has been grazed as I'm doing the grass walk, and I make a list on my phone for both farm the paddock numbers, and then the earliest day that it suits to spread fert, it'll be next week now. I have the list and I'll go around and do that, and like then the next walk I keep track of what wasn't fertilised the last day and needs to be fertilised again, and that's how we keep track, and we always follow the cows then with fertiliser for the whole year. The plan again will be to go with another 2 bags to the acre of 18612, so that'll be 72 units out by the first week in May, which will be a lot of fertiliser for us here. But only because we don't normally have so much grazing done. It's not a crazy amount of fert to have out by the 1st of May, but it's just that we don't normally have it out. So we should really grow grass well into the summertime then, because we're always lagging behind. I think with nitrogen, because our first round would only ever be going out now usually, and it had only be 36 units. And I think if you come into sort of dry spells in May, or definitely by the middle of June, we're 1 round of fert behind everybody else, and we're going to be in line with everybody else this year. I think it's going to help growth mid-season. I hope it'll be interesting to see. And that then will be the P&K requirements from granular fertiliser kind of done for the year. It'll be 4 bags to the acre. That's maintenance and a bit above, and then it'll be getting slurried in at different points during the year as well. I think the nitrogen then, it'll be straight nitrogen after that, and we'll decide between urea and can, and I'll make that decision on based on what paddocks are up to scratch for lime and what aren't. So urea, I don't like putting on paddocks that are very deficient for lime. It doesn't work on it, so can works better, and I know can is more expensive, but there's no point putting out urea cheaper and it's not working for you either. That's just as expensive. Cows, there's a bit of work to do on this paddock while, or till now, because I knew I'd be walking out here, so I left the wire up and I'll lift it now. But they've done serious work out here. Actually give a look. Munch, munch, munch. These bloody Hanson ball cocks. Vibrating again. Look at it. That vibrates, right? And then it breaks, it cracks that bracket off eventually. And then you come out to the field someday and it's overflowing because the bracket has broke off and the ball cock is floating around in the water. Very, very bad design. Anyway, let's see that. Now, home farm. Bit different here. Put the wedge up here. We've got a pile of paddocks way above the line and a good deficit coming in the middle there. So what's happened here is growth really hasn't taken off. It grew well last week and it grew well this week, but demand is a good bit higher up here. So I wanted to take out all of the, I wanted to be brave and take out all the paddocks that are way above the line and run a little bit of a deficit. So if I just change the wedge now and show you it here and what that looks like. All that does here, you'll see, is it makes the gap in the middle bigger. It drops our average farm cover down a little bit too low and the growth down a little bit too low. Because again, any fields that had grass on during the week have grown and that didn't have it on didn't grow as much. So by taking out those really high covers all above the line, we've also dropped our growth way below our demand. And after speaking to Andre, he's kind of afraid after the cold night we had the other night with all the very cold rain / sleet, that I won't see the growth I want to see or would expect to see this week either. That will hurt the grass a bit. We also had a heavy frost there one night. So he recommended that I put back in 2 of the highest covers, which you'll see here. That ties up the wedge way more. There's not a heap of ground above the line. The gap in the middle isn't as big. The growth looks a little bit better and the average farm cover is much safer, sitting around 600 there, I think. So that's what we're going to go with here. Now, if I put the wedge back up here, they're going to go into number 16 and number 2 and get both of those out of it before moving on into those bigger covers. 16 and 2 is going to get me pretty much till Tuesday, and I won't have to get into the very high covers then until I walk. So when I walk on Wednesday, I'll get another updated view as to see how well the grass grew, and then I can make a decision again as to whether I do need that 18 and 23 that you see at the top there in the wedge or not. But it's like what Andre said, it's better to have them there in case you need them than to be going looking for them. So that is ground for heifers, but I've given the heifers back more ground now than I had thought I would be giving them back, because I have more grass than I thought, and there's still some there for cows. So we're in a very, very good position, very safe. On both farms really, so things are good. Very wet today, we've had a lot of rain. I'll put in a clip at the end about how much rain we've had since, but there won't be any shortage of grass after this. It's raining all night long. It's going to rain all day today. It's going to rain all night tonight, and it's going to rain all day tomorrow. So I'll just let him in here to this new fenced off section here. I don't know how wet it's going to be. It's going to be fairly wet by tomorrow evening, I tell you. There's actually water splashing up out our feet as they're running in there. You can hear them. Jesus Christ. think it's clearing off out here behind me. But we've had 80 mil this week so far. So that's today's Saturday, you'll see this tomorrow. And since Tuesday night we've had 80 mil. I'll just show you what that. Now the ground is surprisingly hard, but I'll just show you what it's done to the ground here. So it's just saturated waterlogged. It doesn't take a lot to make it brown and mucky, so it's clear now over the sea now for sure. It's darker behind me, so it's clear now over the sea for sure, and I think it's gone then, pretty much gone. I don't think the week is coming is to be too bad, so we'll want it. Now we would just show you how dry we had gotten, because the ground is hard, you know. So we definitely were in a huge moisture deficit, but we're in a moisture surplus now for sure. So that's it for today's video. If you haven't already, a reminder, please click the subscribe button now. Press the like button if you liked the video at any point, and come back next week for more hardship probably.